Hello, welcome back. Welcome if you're new. I'm Flo. How are you doing? Glad to hear it. I am going on holiday. I'm really excited. I'm leaving tomorrow. Have I started packing yet? No. But I figured I'm going to be filming for the week I'm away. It's pretty much like a beach holiday, so hopefully I should get a lot of reading done. That's the thought process. And I haven't packed anything yet, but we all know the most important thing when you go on holiday is your books. And we need to make some good choices. With that being said, we're going to choose the books now that I'm going to pack. So I've picked one out already, which the first one I picked out that I want to take is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I just want like a fun romance. Although now I've said this out loud, I don't think this is that fun a romance because this is about a woman whose husband dies, but then he doesn't actually die, but she's remarried and now she's like in love with both of them. So maybe that's not as fun as, it's not like a light-hearted, I don't think. Maybe I shouldn't take this, maybe I should take something more light-hearted. I have got Beach Read by Emily Henry, which would be sort of perfect. Should I take Beach Read? Yeah, it feels like it would be wrong not to. So okay, we're going to take Beach Read by Emily Henry. This, for anyone who doesn't know, is about two writers in a writer's slump and they decide to swap genres to like help them get out of their slump. And that's all I know about it, but I think this could be a very fun one. So okay, this will be book number one that we take. I'm tempted to take A Flicker in the Dark because it's the book I'm currently reading, but I'm only 20 pages in. Like normally I wouldn't take a book that I'm halfway through, but I mean I'm literally that far through, so I feel like that makes sense. This is a thriller. This is about a girl whose father went to prison. He was like a serial killer. And now it's like 20 years later and the killings are happening again. I feel like this might be a fun contrast to Beach Read, so we'll take this. Then, Daisy Jones and the Six is on my TBR. What do I want, a fantasy? Oh, what do I want? Okay, in a completely different vein, I'm taking A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is young adult mystery, I think. And I've just heard very, very good things and I feel like this will be fun. But now we've got two sort of mystery thriller type books. I don't want to take anything else in that genre. Do you know what? I am taking it. I don't know. I don't have a reason. I'm just taking it. Then, okay, that's four. Okay, I'm going rogue. I'm taking Boy Parts. I realise this is an odd book to take on a beach holiday. It's not exactly summer vibes, but this I think is about, it's like a female rage book, I think, and I think it's about a woman. She's a photographer and I think she kills men. I think she's a serial killer. I don't really know, but I think this is a literary fiction and it will be very different to everything else. So I think it's a good choice. Okay, I'm taking these 5 books. I think this is a good selection. We've got 2 romances, 2 sort of mystery thrillers and 1 literary fiction. I feel like I'm really overthinking this, but I feel like that's a good selection. We'll catch you by the beach. Honestly, the next clip will probably be in the airport, but I'll catch you wherever I am next. So we have made it to Cape Verde. The flight was about 6 hours. In my head, I was like, I started A Flicker in the Dark. In my head, I was like, I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna spend the entire 6 hours reading. I'm gonna finish this or like be like so close to the end. So I'm on page 92. I didn't get very much read. Mostly because I was so tired because we got up at 4 a.m. and the night before I like barely had any sleep. So I was just really tired. And even though I didn't really sleep on the flight, I slept a little bit right at the end, but I didn't sleep for most of the flight, but I just couldn't focus. However, enjoying it, very fun, but tired. But as we've just discovered, there is no Wi-Fi in this hotel and there is no signal and there's no TV. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of reading, which is great. But I'm gonna try and read some more of this now, tonight. Oh, I'm so tired. It's literally 8 p.m. and I want to go to bed so badly, but we're gonna try and not go to bed. But yeah, gonna read a bit more of this tonight and then catch you in the morning, and hopefully we can go down to the pool and do a bit of reading in the sun. Okay, I did just already film this entire clip, and I filmed it by a really nice scenic pool with a lovely beach view, and then I listened to it back and you can't hear a word I'm saying, so we're gonna refilm it. I don't know why I'm wearing sunglasses inside. I just haven't taken them off and I'm too lazy to now take them off, so there we go. But what I was saying is, I think the last time I spoke to you guys was after I just got off the plane, and I had been reading Flicker in the Dark and I only got to page 90, but I've spent the whole day reading by the pool today and I'm now at page 232. And I have the biggest theory about what is going to happen. I don't know why, I'm just so convinced it's right, and every new detail we now get, I'm like, yeah, that has to be right. I don't know if it actually will be. Part of me hopes I'm wrong, because then I'll be blindsided and that'll be fun, but part of me hopes I am right, because A, if it is this, I think it's quite a good plot, and B, it's always just fun to get it right. So I kind of don't mind either way. If I get it right, win. If I don't, win. So win-win either way. The author has a really good way of like dipping in and out of flashbacks and like making them feel so real and so seamless. So she'll be writing in like the present, and then it will just slip back into a flashback and then like really seamlessly slip back into the present again, and it's just so effortlessly done. It's so easy to read and it's so quick and fast paced, and there's lots happening, and it's got that classic thriller feel to it, and I'm just having a really good time, and I'm reading it pretty fast, and it's a good one to just lay by the pool and be engrossed in. But yeah, I am very intrigued to see if I'm right about this ending. Now, I'm hoping I can finish this tomorrow, because I've only got, oh my god, I'm on 232. It's about 350-ish, so yeah, like a bit over 100 pages. I reckon we can definitely do that tomorrow. So I was right, which I'm pretty chuffed about actually, because I never ever figure out books. But to be fair, I was thinking about this. I don't think I just like figured it out, because the point I like started going down that route, it wasn't like there was anything in the writing that was just really like unsubtle or anything. Like, I don't think most people would read this and be like, oh, it's super obvious. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's more just that I was reading it and I was like, oh, I had my writer's head on, and I was like, oh, if I was writing this is what I would do. And because I had that in my head, I started noticing like really subtle little things, and I was like, maybe this is what she's doing. But it was really, really subtle, and she built it up beautifully. There was like a first twist that was nothing to do with what I'd suspected. Like, I didn't see that coming at all. And then I was like, oh my god, I've got this completely wrong. Like, I was like, oh, okay, this is like completely different. And then it kind of came back to like, oh, okay, the second twist is what I'd guessed. But the first twist, I had no idea. I didn't see that coming at all. This is just a super fun, fast-paced thriller. I read this in like 2.5 days. The writing is so fast-paced, so seamlessly flowing, fun characters. Had a really good time with it, so I would recommend. Then I realised this is like a really weird angle. It's just, I don't know where else to film in this flat, so go with me. But I then started Beach Read by Emily Henry. So I just wanted something totally different from A Flicker in the Dark, and totally different. I'm on page 134, so I've actually read a good chunk, and I'm absolutely loving it. This is about two authors, a woman called January who writes romance, and a guy called Gus who writes literary fiction, and they both got writer's block, and they've both come away trying to finish their novels, and they basically decide to swap genres to like try and get out of their writing slumps. And as someone writing a book, this is just so fun to read about, and it's making me really want to write. So if you're writing a book, I would really recommend reading this just for the vibes. It just gets you in the mood. It reminds me of Book Lovers, another book by Emily Henry, the only other book I've read, just in the sense of it's got those fun rom-com vibes, but it's also got those like deeper conversations about grief, which Book Lovers had, and this has as well. But I'm having a lot of fun with this, and this is such a good one to just sit by the pool and read. It's giving those summer vibes. A Flicker in the Dark
Flicker in the Dark was not necessarily giving summer vibes. This is giving summer vibes. I apologise for the fact that these angles do not have my usual directorial brilliance. I'm obviously kidding, but they are worse than normal. We're makeshifting this video because obviously we're away and I don't have my equipment with me or good lighting, and the electricity is currently turned off in this hotel room. So that'll be fun. They told me it'd be 2 minutes. It has now been about an hour and a half. I'm not sure when it's coming back on, but that's okay. That's fine. But yeah, I just thought I would do that as a little aside. But gonna continue reading this for the rest of the day, and I'll obviously update you as and when. Hi everyone. I have a massive mosquito bite on my eye, so we're gonna keep sunglasses on. I have been bitten on the same eye twice, 2 days in a row. So this eye is like the size of a golf ball. That's an exaggeration, but it is quite big. So we're gonna keep these on for the time being. But I thought I'd give you a little update because it's been a couple days since I've spoken to you. I finished Beach Read, finished it on the beach, which felt very fitting. And I had a really, really fun time with this. And I will say, I think if you enjoyed Book Lovers, you will enjoy this and vice versa. They have similar vibes in the sense that it's that sort of casual rivals to lovers trope in both of them, and both to do with like the publishing industry. Both have got like that deeper tone of like talking about grief and like healing underneath it. So in that sense, it had quite a few of the same themes. It's obviously like a different plot, different book. I really enjoyed the writing aspect of this book. I mean, I said it before, but because I'm writing a book, just hearing about two people writing books, I just really enjoyed that. Obviously, that's not like necessarily the main part of this book, but I just really enjoyed it. And once again, Emily Henry with the wonderful flirty banter dialogue. She does it like no one else. Now, I have 3 books left. I have One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, I have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, and I have Boy Parts by Eliza Clark. Now, I'm kind of in the mood for this, but I just read a romance, and I'm normally fine if I read the same genre back to back. I don't know, I never enjoy the second book of the same genre as much, and I feel like this could be really good, and I kind of don't want to ruin it for myself. So I'm thinking maybe we just mix it up and do something completely different. In which case I'm kind of thinking Boy Parts, because again, we just had a like thriller mystery, and I think this is young adult mystery, but I think this could be fun. This is like the opposite of a beach read. Like, this is not summer vibes at all, I don't think. I'm kind of in the mood for it. It's literary fiction, and all I know about it is it's about a woman she's a photographer, and I think she becomes a serial killer. But I don't think it's like a thriller mystery. I think it's a lit fic. I don't totally know, but I think I am in the mood for this. So I think today we're going to start this.
All right, I know I look a state. We're all going to ignore it, but I am on page 148 of Boy Parts. I have absolutely flown through this. I'm pretty much exactly halfway, I would say, and I've read all that in like one afternoon. I'll say, I think I said it when I picked this book up that I think this is about a woman who is a serial killer. Don't know where on earth I got that from. It is literally not about that at all. Or at least so far, nobody has died. Literally don't know where I got that from. So, apologise for the misinformation. But I am thoroughly enjoying this. We'd definitely check the trigger warnings for this. There's a lot of very deep content in here. Basically just follow this woman as she unravels. It's like following her throughout her life. It's like her, not the whole life, but like a few like days, weeks out of her life. It's not like a mystery where you're waiting for something to happen, or like, I don't know, it is literally just following this woman, and she's horrible. She's manipulative, she's rude, she's unkind, she's like a terrible friend, terrible partner. Like, she's so interesting to read about, and I'm absolutely loving this. Like, I'm obsessed. I think this is so good. It's such engaging reading. It is graphic, it is gross. I think it's definitely an acquired taste. There's a lot of really deep content about like abuse and mental health, but it's sort of underlying her behaviour, so sort of like all the stuff that happened to her in her past, but you also don't know how much of it's true, because she's not a very honest person. Like, a lot of what she says isn't true, and you're like picking up on things, particularly as you go through, that you're like, oh, she said this, but actually that wasn't true, that didn't happen. And there's also like kind of mergings of like reality and like fiction. But I did completely make up the thing about her being a serial killer. Like, in my head, this book was about a girl who like got men in to photograph them and then to kill them, and I've made that up. At least so far anyway. I'm halfway through and no one has died. I don't think anyone's going to die, so I do apologise. I think in my last video I said that Jack Edwards said that and then blamed him. I think I've completely just fictionalised that ever happening. So apologies to Jack Edwards, who definitely watches this channel. But moral of the story is I'm having a very good time with this, and I'll let you know when I finish it. Okay, I realise I've looked like an absolute state for this entire video, but we're all just gonna look past it. I can't be bothered to wash my hair, can't be bothered to put on makeup, so you're all gonna have to forgive me. But I finished Boy Parts. I had such a wild time with this. I'm gonna start by saying this is not gonna be for everyone. It's just not. It's so graphic and gross. The lead character, you will hate her. She's not likable. She's not meant to be likable. I don't think you root for her, but I think she's interesting enough that you're not reading it being like, ugh, I hate this girl. You're reading it being like, oh, this is so interesting. Or at least that was my experience. I didn't actively hate her reading it. Like, if she was in my life, I would hate her. Like, she's a horrible friend and she's a horrible person. Like, she just thinks she's above everyone else. She's incredibly rude and manipulative to everyone around her. But as a character in a book, very interesting. And as like a character study in general, she's such an interesting person, and Eliza Clark did such a brilliant job of making her this completely full character, like well-rounded. And you get to see like her childhood and her family and kind of bits of maybe the reason why she is like she is. Basically, this book is just watching a woman unravel, and it's great. It's heavy as anything. I think I said earlier, but if I didn't, do check the trigger warnings. It's not an easy read, and it was certainly maybe an odd choice for me to read on the beach. Like, it wasn't beach read. it wasn't giving summer cozy vibes, but I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time with it. It was so engaging. Like, I've absolutely flown through this in 2 days, and I couldn't put it down. And for me, I know when I'm getting to the end of the book and I'm like, I wish this was longer. Like, most books, there's like satisfying about getting to the end of a book, right? Most books, I'm like, oh, okay, I've got 50 pages left. I'm like excited to finish. Not because it's bad, but just like, it's just satisfying to finish books. And most books, I'm kind of like happy, not happy it's over, that sounds really bad, but do you know what I mean? Like, I finished a book and I'm like, oh great, I finished this book, I'm happy. This, I was like, I want more. I want to know what happens next. I've only actually got 1 day of my holiday left and then the plane. So I don't know if we should finish this book realistically. I don't know, we'll see. But this is One True Love. It will be my second Taylor Jenkins Reid book. I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I loved it, had a very good time. So I'm excited to read this. I think this is going to be different. That was more like a historical fiction with like an undercurrent of romance. Well, quite a heavy undercurrent, but it was more like someone's entire lifespan. Whereas this, to be fair, this still to me goes down the sort of literary fiction with romance elements. I'm saying to me, I haven't read it. That's just based on what I've read on the blurb. This is about a woman who marries a man. He then goes missing in a helicopter crash, presumed dead, and she remarries, and then the husband comes back, and now there are 2 men that she loves in her life. Is that summer read? Because it sounds like it's also going to be very sad, but it's a romance, I think. Maybe it isn't. Anyway, this has been such a long clip, unnecessarily so. All to say that I'm going to be reading this next. That was it, really. I am back. I've been back a few days. Have I unpacked yet? No, absolutely not. But I thought I would just wrap up the video because I feel like I look a little bit more presentable now. I realise I've looked like a state for this entire video. So we're just gonna let that go. We're gonna let it be. I do apologise. I've started the edit of this video. It's a little more, the camera angles aren't so good, it's all a little bit more makeshift. But I do appreciate if you've stuck through to this point, next week's video will be better shot. But I thought I would just wrap up our time reading and chat you through where I got to as well with One True Loves. But to summarise the video, we read Flicker in the Dark, had a very good time with this. This is fun, fast-paced, thriller, mystery, sort of like got that deeper side to it. It's not just like a whodunit, it's got that all the sides talking about like drug abuse and talking about like family and the effects of like growing up in an unstable household and stuff. So lots of really deep conversations sort of underlying quite a fun plot about serial killers. Then we read Beach Read to mix it up. This is January and Gus. They're sort of casual rivals to lovers, swapping book genres. Great one if you're writing a book. Fun, summer vibes, also some deeper themes talking about grief and loss. And again, very easy one to read, fast-paced, fun for the most part. Another good time. Then we read Boy Parts, which is just graphic, gross, dark, very, very dark themes about manipulation, not being able to trust your own mind, but really, really fast-paced, really engaging writing, engaging characters, even if they are horrible people. Highly recommend checking this out. I would love to know if anyone has read this, what your thoughts are, because I can see people just having, everyone's going to have an opinion on this, whether you liked it or not. I had such a good time with this and I absolutely loved it, but I'm really interested to see what other people thought. And then, the last time I spoke to you, I was starting One True Loves, and I was like, I'm going to read this today and then I'm going to read it on the plane. And so you must be thinking, oh, you probably finished it, or you're probably near the end of it. And you would be wrong. I have got to page, where are we at? 68. So we haven't got overly far. I pretty much ended up sleeping through the entire plane ride home. But my thoughts so far, this is, I think when I started this video, I was like, oh, this will be a light-hearted, fun romance. It's not that. I would say it's way more of a literary fiction. I mean, it talks about relationships, and it's this woman. I mean, to be fair, the start of this book is kind of how she met both of the men involved, her husband and her now fiance. But it's not the kind of romance you read and then you're like kicking your feet being like, oh my god, this is super cute, because it's really, really sad, and it's very, like, you don't want to be in this woman's shoes. I was reading this being like, rather you than me, mate. But it's very well written, it's very engaging, but it's just not the genre that I thought it was. But so far, very interested. I'm so intrigued who she's gonna, I assume she's gonna pick one of them eventually. Currently I have no idea who that's gonna be. My prediction, wait, should I say my prediction? I think I can say my prediction, because I'm on page 70, it's not a spoiler. My prediction is that she's going to pick Sam, but I don't know, I haven't finished it. And Sam is the fiance, by the way, the new one. But I don't know. So all in all, for a week's away, not too bad. We got through 3 whole books, started a 4th. But I had a very fun time reading. These were great books to go away with. I mean, all 3 of these I just absolutely flew through. And it was a great selection. We had a mystery, we had a romance, we had a literary fiction, and we had a, I don't really know what the last one is, but a good time. But thank you very, 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 very much for watching. I do appreciate everyone being here, especially if you stuck around to this point, because I realised this video was just sort of me getting gradually less presentable throughout. So thank you for sticking with. Please do subscribe to the channel. It means the world to me. I love seeing the little community that we're starting to grow. Everyone commenting down below makes me so happy. Chatting to you guys about books and all that fun stuff is just wonderful. But yeah, really appreciate you guys being here, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you very much.